The Blood Angels are one of the 21st founding legions of the Space Marines, and were originally the Ninth Legion before the second founding broke the Legiones Astartes up into separate chapters of 1,000 Space Marines each. They are well known across the galaxy for their bloodthirsty nature in battle, and feared for the curse of flawed gene seed they carry. The Blood Angels are amongst the longest living of the Adeptus Astartes, though some of the chapters Space Marine having served the Emperor of mankind for over 1,000 standard years. Due to recent events, the Blood Angels' numbers were severely depleted under the threat of extinction, and in order to quickly replenish their numbers, the Blood Angels were forced to ask their kindred successor chapters from subsequent Astartes foundings for a tithe of warriors from the related chapters, pools of neophytes, their candidate Space Marines. With these tithes of new recruits, and the recent arrival of the Primaris Space Marines during the Indominus Crusade, the Blood Angels were able to replenish their losses, though they still face a time of trial like none the chapter has known since the days of the Horus Heresy. The Blood Angels are the noble descendants of the most puissant of the and angelic of the Primarchs, Sanguinius. They are perhaps one of the most celebrated chapters in the entire Imperium. Their countless heroic deeds and victories, known to untold billions of the Emperor's subjects across the length and breadth of the galaxy. The beautiness, angelic visages of the chapter heroes adorn Gothic facades and stained glass windows, and a million holy basilisks and their portraits gaze serenely from endless copied and much cherished illuminated tombs. Yet, hidden from the multitudes, the Blood Angels harbor a terrible curse when their beloved Primarch was slain at the hands of the arch-traitor, Horus. At the very height of the Horus Heresy, every Blood Angel was doomed to share a portion of the pain inflicted upon his flawless form. From that day forward, every Blood Angel has been tormented by visions of the last moment of Sanguinius. The older the Space Marine gets, the more frequent and debilitating such awakening nightmares become. Should he not fall in battle, every Blood Angel will one day become so consumed by these soul-searing visions that he will descend into a madness in which he must witness the death of Sanguinius over and over again, ever unable to intervene as the War Master enacts his vile treachery. The very inevitability of the curse ennobles the Battle Brothers of the Blood Angels, driving them ever onwards to a glorious death in the name of the Emperor and the Primarch. Where lesser men might have surrendered to the dark urgings to shed the blood of the enemies of the Emperor, the Blood Angels have remained pure and noble for 10,000 standard years. Despite this, the chapter is dying. For each year, ever more of its brethren succumb to the so-called Red Thirst, the desire to rend limb from limb those responsible for the death of Sanguinius, and by extension, every enemy of the Emperor. The death of Sanguinius represents one of the most perfidious and tragic moments of the Horus Heresy, for he died at the hands of his brother, Primarch, the arch-traitor Horus. Although some say that the sacrifice weakened the War Master, this is enough to allow the Emperor to later defeat him at the climax of the Siege of Terra. The death of Sanguinius is mourned to this day, and felt keenly by the Blood Angels, in whose veins his blood still pumps. When war calls and blood is spilled, the Blood Angels are gripped by a fury born of the last moments of the Primarch's life. For some, the thirst is too great. They are entirely overcome by what is called the Black Rage. Cursed to endure their days, revealing the beloved Primarch's death over and over again. The, be- the beatificate sons of Sanguinius are known and celebrated across the Imperium. Representations of the greatest heroes of the Blood Angels carved in marble, painted in oils, sewn in tapestries in a million claustros or more, and more. Their angel-winged Primarch is an object of veneration on countless worlds. His perfect visage gazing down on the faithful with a mixture of benevolence and pity. The Blood Angels are the inheritors of Sanguinius, and they bring death from above to the enemies of the Emperor. The chapter seeks the beauty of perfection in all it does, and one particular feat of warfare surpasses all practitioners, while all chapters of the Adeptus Astartes are masters of the drop pod and Thunderhawk assault. The Blood Angels have become synonymous with the flawless execution of an aerial assault. They employ an entirely new pattern of vehicles of mysterious origins, the Storm Raven gunship. This vessel appears as a lighter cousin to the Thunderhawk. While its smaller size means it carries less weaponry and a smaller troop capacity, it greatly makes up for this in speed and maneuverability. While the Adeptus Mechanicus took several standard centuries to examine and debate the use of the standard template construct imprint of the gunship. The Blood Angel saw its worth immediately, and set about introducing it to their armory. Lately, the Chapter's Forge has been able to perfect its fabrication methods to such an extent that the gunship is now being used throughout the entire force. While the gunship is only just a beginner to enter service in the other Astartes chapters, the Blood Angels are already masters of its use, and they have refined methods of aerial assault others are just beginning to learn. The Blood Angels' doctrine of aerial assault accumulates in savage close combat, whether they are delivered into battle by Thunderhawk or a Storm Raven gunship, or in the troop bay of an armored transport such as a Rhino, Razorback, or a Land Raider. The Blood Angels are all but peerless in their mastery of close assault. This is in part because the gene seed of Sanguinius grants his son an incredibly long lifespan, even for Space Marines during which endless solar hours of practice and countless battles hone their skills to perfection. Yet, the Blood Angels are not driven towards the fury of close assault by tactical necessity or a battlefield doctrine alone. The chapter is resilient on blood and the need to cleanse it to keep the flaw at bay exerts a strange and all but irresistible hold on the Blood Angel. In battle, the Blood Angels are drawn to spill the blood of their foes, and orderly, noble continuance can occasionally transform into twisted, rage-fueled masks of savagery. This is referred to as red thirst, and is something that every Blood Angel experiences for many. The red thirst is a prelude to the ultimate expression of the flaw, the black rage in which the state becomes permanent and all-consuming. The Blood Angel and the successive chapters, known as Sanguinian Brotherhood, are unique in their gene seed imposes as an unusual and ultimately tragic flaw upon each battle brother. For most chapters, service begins as a neophyte, with the initiate becoming ever more senior the more battles he survives, until the few that remains are granted command of a company, become a specialist such as a chaplain, or become the master of the chapter itself. The Blood Angels experience an entirely different journey. Though few outside of their ranks ever learn of it, the Blood Angels possess an almost supernatural noble, almost saintly continuance, their features handsome and pure. This is all the more amazing because the chapter recruits from the short and stunted men of the tribes of Baal, rated with stigmite lesions and carcinomal caused by radiation poisoning. Their dramatic transformation into the sanity neophytes is only made possible by arcane blood rites. Over a lifespan far longer than that of their average Astartes, the Blood Angels honed his skills. Yet with each battle he experiences something more of the flaw, the urge to spill the hot, steaming blood of his foes growing ever stronger. As it does, so that the brother is driven to spend longer periods of time purging his own bloodstream within the crimson embrace of his transfusion casket. After several standard centuries of service, he must spend long solar hours within it, hunting every drop of his own blood scrubbed clean. At some point, the Blood Angel is likely to feel stirring of something deeper, the rage descending on, not at the accumulation of battle, but before it. These are the first echoes of the Black Rage. While most Blood Angels fall into combat long before succumbing to it, those who cannot hold it at bay are forced to enter the chapter's infamous Death Company. Fate is a cruel master, for no matter how much his prey might twist or turn, no matter what triumphs they might rise to or what trials they overcome, he will still drag them down. The Blood Angels struggle against the fate written in their very genes, defied the role of the Emperor chose for them, and dared to believe they could transcend the darkness that followed them. They took the worst of mankind, made it of something bright and true. They rose above once they had once been, and stood astride the fledgling Imperium like the guardian angels of which they were named. Yet nurtured in their successes were the seeds of their fall, and the jealousy of their fallen War Master Horus, who saw in them everything himself had thrown away. The opening stroke of the Horus heresy brought the Blood Angels to their knees, and the tragedies that were to follow would shatter their resolve and leave them broken. Such is the nature of the Ninth Legion, that they did not surrender to despair, nor surrender to darkness, but rose again and again. What might have Sanguinius and his sons achieve were not for the dark fate brought upon them by treachery and genetics. What brilliant flower might have bloomed from the carnage and blood of their origins? The unknown future is yet another casualty of Horus's civil war. The Blood Angels left to endure the slow degeneration of their noble line with the stubborn pride that is their hallmark.